What's up guys, Justin here of Yugatech, and it's been a while since we last did a comparison since the COVID-19 pandemic. But we heard you guys, and it's time to finally compare these two beastly performing mid-range devices. We'll lay it all out for you, and we hope this video can help you decide firmly which one to choose. So Realme 6 Pro and Redmi Note 9 Pro. It's not only the Pro in their names that makes these two similar. For one, both of them are designed with Gorilla Glass 5 protected glass backs and screens with protruding rear camera modules to house 4 lenses in their own respective style. That's a square setup in the middle for the Redmi Note 9 Pro, while we get a vertically aligned on the upper left for the Realme 6 Pro. Holding both phones, they're quite thick to grip but still feels comfortable to palm with their curved edges. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is a little heavier, but you wouldn't really notice it. Seriously. As for their design aesthetics, the Realme 6 Pro is a head-turner with its unique lightning-shaped reflective fashion. On the other hand, the Redmi Note 9 Pro keeps it simple with solid color options. Up front, you can easily distinguish the two with their punch hole placements for their selfie cameras. Redmi has it in the middle, while Realme has 2 on the upper left of the screen. On top of those are their call speakers. It's also notable that both have Gorilla Glass 5 protection here too, plus some pre-installed screen protector. On the right are their power buttons that double as fingerprint scanners and the volume rocker for the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Meanwhile, on the left are their triple card trays for 2 nano SIM cards and 1 micro SD card that are both expandable up to 512GB. You'll also find here Realme's volume buttons. Up top are their secondary microphone, and additionally the Redmi Note 9 Pro gets an IR blaster. Located at the bottom are their loudspeakers, main microphones, USB Type-C ports, and headphone jacks that are always nice to see. Overall, both phones have solid builds with their glass bodies and large screens. Personally, Realme looks more dope and modern, while Redmi gives a more classic high-end vibe. Not to mention that it also has a splash-proof nano coating for more protection, but we'll let you decide on design as we all have different preferences. Moving on to display, these two get almost the same IPS LCD screens with a marginal size difference. Redmi has a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus dot display with a pixel density of 395 pixels per inch, while Realme gets a 6.6-inch Full HD Plus screen with a pixel density of 399 pixels per inch. Generally, both have vibrant colors, good outdoor visibility, as well as viewing angles. But you'll notice that the Realme 6 Pro looks more vivid thanks to a little higher pixel density. And it also has one of the major differences in this comparison, which is having the option for a smooth 90Hz refresh rate display, which is currently something rare to have at this price point. Now, one thing to consider about their displays are those notch placements. We get a single dot on the Redmi Note 9 Pro and a dual punch on the Realme 6 Pro. The dual front cameras can be good to have, but they can be somehow distracting for multimedia and gaming. But do let us know in the comments which punch hole placement do you prefer. But as for display quality, we're giving it to the Realme 6 Pro for that rare 90Hz refresh rate option and a more vibrant display. Talk about audio quality, their down-firing loudspeakers can both averagely get loud enough for a medium-sized room. You can expect crisp quality from both, with the Redmi Note 9 Pro sounding less distorted when the volume is put to max. As for software, both run on Android 10 skinned with their own launchers. That's MIUI 11 for Redmi and Realme UI for, Realme. These skins both look clean and easy to navigate, but they are far from each other. Realme UI has some resemblance to a stock Android look, but still has a few customizable features up its sleeve just like MIUI. Both have an app drawer option and other latest features such as dark mode, system colors, animations, app clone, and gestures. Either way, just like design, we all have our own preferences with software, so we'll leave it to you guys. For most of us in the team, we prefer MIUI's simple and functional interface more. Moving on to performance, you probably already know that under the hood, both phones are equipped with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G paired with an Adreno 618 GPU. The Redmi Note 9 Pro gets 6GB of RAM and 64 or 128GB of internal storage, while locally the Realme 6 Pro packs 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. Now, the Snapdragon 720G is a really good mid-range chip, and this is reflected in the benchmark scores we got. As expected, both can handle basic activities smoothly as well as heavy games with just a few rare hiccups. Neither of the two performs badly, but you'll surely get more from the Realme 6 Pro with the extra amount of RAM and the advantage of the 90Hz refresh rate. For biometric security, you can unlock both devices via face unlock and their side-mounted fingerprint scanners on their power buttons. Their face recognition responds right away most of the time, with Realme having a quicker reaction. On the other hand, their fingerprint scanners are undeniably fast and reliable, with, again, the Realme 6 Pro performing faster. Battery-wise, the Redmi Note 9 Pro has a huge 5020 mAh battery with 30 watts fast charging. And as for the Realme 6 Pro, it gets a lower 4300 mAh capacity with 30 watts VOOC flash charge. Charging speed won't really be a problem here, as you can juice up both devices from 0 to 100 within an hour to an hour and a half. We ran both through our standard video loop test, and the Redmi Note 9 Pro got a total of 18 hours and 12 minutes, while the Realme 6 Pro yielded 17 hours and 2 minutes. With this, we can assure you that both phones can last you a whole day with moderate use and a few gaming. But for battery, the Redmi Note 9 Pro takes the crown with its bigger capacity. Plus, Realme's display and 90Hz refresh rate can be a little power consuming. Alright, let's talk about cameras. As mentioned earlier, both have quadruple rear camera setups. The Redmi Note 9 Pro keeps a 64-megapixel main, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, a 5-megapixel macro lens, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. On the other hand, the Realme 6 Pro gets a 64-megapixel primary cam, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, a 12-megapixel telephoto, and a 2-megapixel macro lens. Up front on Redmi's punch hole is a 16-megapixel selfie camera, while Realme packs a dual 16-megapixel Sony IMX471 lens and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide shooter. Taking a look at these first two photos that were taken with their AIs turned on, the first thing you'll notice is their colors. They're not alike, as we get a brighter and more vibrant shot from the Realme 6 Pro. However, we do favor Redmi's color production as it is closer to the natural scenario, putting them in 2x zoom, and notice how Realme's color reproduction changed, now favoring a more natural tone. Nicely, we also get good details from both. Now, when we use their ultra-wide angle lenses, it's apparent that the Redmi Note 9 Pro produces more shadows and details. Redmi's colors are consistent, favoring natural tones, while Realme definitely has some color boosting going on. As for these ones, even if you're not using portrait mode, both can give a depth effect. In this case, Redmi did a better job with the blur, sharpness, and again, closer colors to natural. On the other hand, Realme's color boost here isn't bad. It actually makes the pie look more appetizing, but it did miss some small parts in giving a good bokeh effect. Now, when it comes to these shots, oh my, yes, they really look different. And these are oranges and not tomatoes. So I'll say it again, Redmi's rear cameras perform better in terms of producing good color reproduction. It seems like Realme's AI can easily get confused even when chroma boost is turned off. But hopefully Realme can fix this with an update. Both also have good potential for macro photography. In these sets of photos, you can really expect boosted color and brightness from the Realme 6 Pro, while the Redmi Note 9 Pro serves better details. Both phones also have their own 64-megapixel shooters, and here's how they perform. Colors are as good as in their standard mode, and if I'm going to pixel peep, the Realme 6 Pro provides sharper details in these photos. When it comes to night shots, here's a reference without their night modes on. They're both fine but are quite muddy. Turning their night modes on, we get improved shots with lesser shadows and boosted color reproduction. Redmi does look brighter, but it somehow looks overexposed and slightly washed. Realme, on the other hand, still looks a bit dark but preserved good quality. Now things get more interesting as we move on to selfies. These two photos are shot from the same distance, so you can really expect wider coverage from the Realme 6 Pro even in standard mode. Noticeably, skin tones look more natural with Realme 2, while we get a well-lit shot from Redmi. Here's what it looks like when we use Realme's ultra-wide-angle selfie camera. The quality changed with more contrast and shadows. It steps away from the natural soft look compared to its standard mode, but hey, it's still nice to have a wide-angle selfie option. For portrait mode, both perform well in most cases. But if I'll be meticulous, Redmi does a better job when it comes to subject-background separation in this case. Even for indoor or low-light scenarios, we appreciate Realme's approach in producing softer-looking selfies with accurate color reproduction. Redmi can be a little harsh with artificial lighting, but it still works fine. As for videos, you'll be able to shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second on both phones. All in all for cameras, both obviously have their own strengths and weaknesses. I'd like to pick a winner in this category, but I'll give it a tie and let you guys decide what matters to you more. If you want better selfies with a wide-angle option, then it's the Realme 6 Pro. But if you're more focused on the rear camera's performance, then the Redmi Note 9 Pro is for you. Now to wrap this comparison up, let's talk about price. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 9 Pro is available in two configurations. That's 12,490 pesos for the 6GB plus 64GB variant, and 13,990 pesos for the 6GB plus 128GB option. Meanwhile, the Realme 6 Pro gets a higher price tag of 16,990 pesos, and with that comes 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. Both are honestly great mid-range phones with unquestionable performance, very good cameras, and premium-looking design. The Redmi Note 9 Pro should be enough as a daily driver that can last you more battery life with its larger 5020 mAh capacity. You'll get more than what you pay for. But if you want something a little more extra, then surely go for the Realme 6 Pro. Having a 90Hz refresh rate option, more RAM, and additional rear telephoto and front ultra-wide cameras is a real steal. Plus, let's not forget its unique reflective design. But then again, those additional features come along with a higher price. So yes, both are serious bang for your buck smartphones today, but the Redmi Note 9 Pro is the practical choice for us. And that wraps up this comparison. How about you? The Redmi Note 9 Pro or the Realme 6 Pro? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Justin, and don't forget to wash your hands and stay at home.